Hello, guys. Welcome back to our Monday live analysis. All right, so today we're going to be looking into the markets once again, and I mean the market is actually very sketchy these days. I mean, you guys can see it, right? Um, it's gonna be a great week. Happy new month, everyone. So welcome to February. So we're going to be working on that. We're going to work with what can we do to make more profits. Okay, so let's just start by watching out for what we have for the week ahead in terms of news. All right. So right off the bat, we can see here that on Monday we have manufacturing PMI. Okay, ISM manufacturing PMI. This is by 4 p.m. today. Okay. Then on Tuesday we have from 4:30 a.m. for AUD news. Okay, we have their cash rate, basically the interest rate. That's just it. They have their rate statement, monetary policy statement, and all of that. Okay, they also have a press conference an hour later. So watch out for AUD if you're trading during Asian session. Then by 4 p.m. on that Tuesday, you have the JOLTS job openings, all right? And later that day on NZD, we have the employment rates by 10:45 p.m. Okay, that's closer to Asian session, all right, at the close of New York session, basically. On Wednesday, we do have ADP non-farm employment change and ISM services PMI. Okay, we have the manufacturing. This one is services, all right, by 4 p.m. Okay, and this one is by 2:15, by the way. So very important. Take note of this one here. On Thursday, we have by 1 p.m. we have JVP. Okay, we have their bank rates. Okay, and all that stuff that flows after it. 30 minutes later, their governor is going to speak. All right. By 2:15, we have their rate as well for the euro. All right. Policy rates, unemployment claims, and all of that. Okay. Okay, we have unemployment claims by 2:30 on the USD. Then by 2:30 on Friday, we have the feared one non-farm payrolls. Okay, this is NFP basically. I don't know why they changed the name. I mean, I was fine with non-farm payrolls, all right. That was good. Now this is non-farm employment change. So what are we calling it now? NFE or what? Anyways, with that, we also have the for Canada, we also have unemployment change, all right, unemployment change as well. We also have by 4:30 p.m. we have the prevailing consumer sentiment and inflation expectations. All right, so those are some of the things that we have right there for the USD on that Friday. Now, if you ask me which ones should we look out for mostly, all right, I will say that Tuesday morning we have the interest rate for AUD. Watch out for that. It's going to be very volatile. For NZD, this is going to cause a lot of volatility as well. All right. On Wednesday, we have the non-farm employment change. Okay. We also have on Thursday the bank rates. Okay. We also have that for euro. So we have to watch out for those two. So you might have to close your trades or whatever. Just make sure that you don't get caught up in the crossfire. All right. And on Friday, we now have the NFE or NFP, whatever, which is by 2:30. So these are the ones that I'm actually looking forward to. The ones that I know that are going to be packed with volatility. All right. So we have to watch out for that and make sure that you don't get caught off guard. All right. If you're in my community, normally I post all these things I post all these things in the morning during or just before London session, or sometimes if you have news for Asian, I do post a day before, like a night before. All right. So as we keep on going, let us look into the charts, all right, and see what we have for the week ahead. Okay. Now let us look into what we have, right? This is Nasdaq. Okay. Let me just explain what happened here, what I'm doing here rather. If you're in my community, I drop this bias. Okay. I'm already into the trade, by the way, but is yet to trigger on the 30 minutes. Okay, so this is it here. Let's start from the beginning. Okay, this is a new week. Let's start from a fresh new week, all right? Or rather, we'll start from a fresh new month. So far so good. The monthly candles. Let me hide this. So the monthly candles that we can see here now, this is basically an indecision candle. All right, why do I say indecision? Price was actually going up, but it came back down again. Okay, close inside the range of this one, so showing that there's a little bit of a range. There's price is still indecisive, it's not coming out of this range yet. Then on the weekly, we see here that there's actually a sweep around here, but there's also a sweep around here. Okay, but this one is the most recent one. Okay, and I feel like this one is carrying some weight on it. Okay, because if you go down to the, okay, using the next candle model, you'll see here that this is actually bearish pin bar, right? So basically, there's a good chance that the next candle is going to be bearish as well. On the daily time frame, we see here that we have been having a bearish bias all through, right? Bearish candle, bearish candle, bearish candle. Today's one is low-key bearish as well, right? But I do expect a little bit of a retracement. But now, something that we have to note is that we have a break of structure around here. We don't have a break of the high. So I don't know if I should consider it as a failure swing. I would like to consider it as a failure swing if I see price crossing below this low around here. Okay. Well, if we don't have that, then we're likely going to pump from here. Okay. We're likely going to pump from here. I had to check out some things here and I was like, okay, not bad. This actually makes sense because look at this. This here could have been endorsement liquidity. All right. DOL, right? We took out that liquidity. We also broke the structure here. All right, so this is a breakout structure. We had some liquidity that we cleaned around here. So this one is relative equal lows. So if you have been watching me, you know what that means for me. That means like there's a very high pool of liquidity right there. After we clean that, price just skyrocketed to the upside. Okay. And then in the inner structure around here, we do have a breakout structure, right? And price never really came back down for any of those POIs there in the 4-hour time frame. So I was like, okay, cool. Let's watch this. This candle here, these last two candles now, they make up a probable order block, right? On the 4-hour time frame, which gives us this, right? So if that is true, then we are going to be pumping from here, which seems that we are doing. Okay. Where am I going to target? Well, I don't know if this is a failure swing or not, but if this is a failure swing, then probably this is going to be an endorsement, and this fair value gap here is going to be our entry to continue selling. All right, because I mean we did have a break of structure to the downside here, right? We kind of did. We don't really have the major one, but the minor ones are definitely there. So something to watch out for. Okay, so I would think that probably we could actually reach out to this fair value gap, but personally, my best bet is that we're actually going to this low here or at least this high around here. Okay. So if that's the case, then this lonely candle here is going to be like liquidity for me. All right. So I'm aiming to that place, that particular place right now. If we shift down to the 1-hour time frame, we will notice there that things are beginning to take shape, right? So we touched the 4-hour order block. Not just that, but after touching the order block, we had a sweep around here. Okay. This was a sweep. Now, watch me. We have a down close candle here like this. This white candle pushed price up, came back down, and now we're closing above it, right? Meaning that there's a high around here. So price is going to come back inside this place and go up, right? So now we have a few ideas here. Number one is that in the 1-hour time frame, we actually have a fair value gap here, which can be used. Idea number two is that this here is going to be an order block, all right, which is basically where I base my trade from. So another block on the 1-hour time frame. Let me put this on the 4-hour so that we'll have a little bit of a demarcation there, right? All right, so this is the 30 minutes time frame now. Okay, now look at this, right? The other block that we talked about just now is here. Okay, the um the other block is here. Over here we have a bunch of fair value gaps down here. Okay, so these fair value gaps now could actually act as a way for us to actually push the price up. Okay. So sorry, like I was saying, we have here the fair value gap. All right. We do have a, I think this is an inverse fair value gap, right? This is an inverse fair value gap here. So it's not bad, not bad. Whenever you see two fairly gaps opposing side by side, usually there is going to be something that's called a BPR. So a BPR would actually be going from around here. Okay. This simply means that we have a fairly gap, which is this big one here. Then there's another fairly gap or inverse fairly gap inside it. All right. Usually we would choose the range of the smaller one. Okay. So if that's the case, this here would be the BPR, okay, and what would happen is that price might come all the way down here and go up here. All right, continue going upwards. Now, what we do in scenarios like this, you can choose between the order block or the BPR, whichever one is fine, okay. Because I feel like since this is a big order block, so definitely price might will definitely touch the 50% of the order block, I guess. It's very likely, or it could just skyrocket from touching the other block itself. So you have to choose one, pick your poison, right? So that's going to give me a buy either at this other block, right? I'll put my stop loss here. My TP is going to be at the swing high, all right? Or this is going to give me a 1 to 4.7, or I can actually use the BPR from the beginning or from the middle, whichever one you want. Let's just say from the beginning. All right, it's going to give me a 1 to 7 basically. Okay, so a 1 to 7 or a 1 to 4. 4 point let's just say 1 to 5 or a 1 to 7, right? So in between that, you have to pick a poison and make a choice, right, on which one you're going to use. um Personally, I don't really know which one I would use, but let's check the one that's more in tune with this. Okay, so I think this one is okay. The BPR is not that bad. At least price is going to get back down to the what's it called again? Oh, why am I skipping right now? Okay, price is going to get back down to the discount area. Okay, so there's that. So yeah, this is what I have in my charts. Okay, for Nasdaq. Let's look into what we have with DXY. Okay. Now for DXY, things are getting a bit complicated. All right. So overall, I'm actually bearish on DXY. Let me start from here. Okay. Let me clean everything. We're going to start from the monthly candle. Now let's take a minute here and see what happened on DXY. All right. On the monthly candle, we see here that there's a sweep. All right. We had a sweep around here. So this is already a signal that's showing that price might be changing the direction. Okay, if that's the signal there, I think I talked about this last week. I said that we had a weekly sweep here that pushed price down, and that has already happened. This was our DOL, right, our drawn liquidity. So now we are now sweeping the downside, okay, which means that we might actually be heading to the upside. Now, I've had this in mind for like a little while, but like I've been expecting DXY to actually reach up to the monthly fair value gaps that we have around here. Okay, so we have one here, use two of them together, which gives you this. Okay, and if that's the case, then DXY should be pumping up to around it's around this area. Okay, so if that's the case, then you would see price going up like this and then going back down. Okay, so it could be something like that. Now let's jump down to the weekly and see what the weekly is giving us. So far so good on the weekly time frame. What I'm seeing here is that we have that sweep is very clean. Like we even have a pin bar here, a bullish pin bar for that matter. So that shows that there's some good confidence that price wants to pump, like it really wants to pump. On the daily time frame, the pink bar basically disappears, but the bullish bias doesn't. Okay, so we managed to close above this bearish downwards candle here. Okay, which is a good thing. Shows that we have a change instead of delivery, right? On the 4 hours time frame, things begin to get even clearer. All right, because like now we have a few ideas here. Okay, we already know that we've managed to close above these candles around here, so which is nice. And now what are we seeing here? Price is doing what? It's coming down here. Okay, came up, came down again. This here is I think I can call it a failure swing, right? Now we broke the structure. That means that we have a break of structure around here, right? The expectation is that price is going to come back around this area and then keep on going up from there. Okay, well, we have to watch out. We have to watch out for that first. You can't just assume things. So we have to look for clues. Now, let us look for those clues. Um, this here is actually a low. All right, so we are below this one here. So this is a low, which means that we swept this area. So this here was a liquidity sweep. All right. Just before the break of structure, which actually shows a very nice confidence. So we're going to use this as a break of structure. All right. If we go down to the 1 hour time frame, what do we get? Okay, this is what we get. This is a break of structure. Price came back down inside the gap, although it not fill up the gap. Okay. I mean, I don't know. It might depend from broker to broker, but I feel like so far as we have touched this gap here, this opening gap, I think we are safe, or we should be safe. Okay. What does that leave us with now? Well, from what I can see here, we have this last down close candles before the break of structure. All right, which is actually closer to the sweep. Which brings us to around this point here. Okay, I would like to see price coming down to this place. Now we do have a little key level around there. I don't know if you have any other thing. We don't have any other thing again. So I think this could be a very nice order block. Okay, which gives us this. All right. Below this 0.5 is our discount, which is where I would believe price has to go to before pumping. Okay. And this gives us what idea. Remember that I said something before. Whenever you're analyzing the XY, it's going to give you an idea, a possible idea of where EU, GU, UJ, whatever thing that has USD is going. All right. So in this case now, since we're analyzing the XY and I'm expecting the XY to dump a little bit and then pump, pairs like EU or G would pump and dump. Okay, they are going to do the opposite. Now, that's showing that we should be reaching out to this low and coming on here. Not the low, sorry, my bad. But like reaching out to this area. If you go down the time frames again, I'm pretty sure that it's going to become clearer. All right. This here I think is liquidity. Not I think this should be liquidity. I'm seeing equal lows in this area, so basically we're coming down to this area once again. What else? You would need. We have some inverse Fibonacci gaps here. We have the Fibonacci gap. Let me check if any of them is actually tallying with the OTE. So what do we get? This other block is actually like a key level around here. Okay, so I feel like that idea is actually valid. I wait for price to get back to that key level and then take a trade from it. But yeah, still basically the same thing. So I'm expecting to see price. Okay, this is actually relatively poor lows as well. So played out liquidity, started pumping from there, right? The structure, liquidity. I will wait for price to actually dump inside this area, and then I'll now see if you can have a reversal model inside this area. Okay, so yeah, so far so good. Everything is still okay. All right, this is what we have for the week. So far so good. We only have one setup, which is on Nasdaq. Because of this idea, I guess you guys can already see what I'm aiming for when it comes to GU, right? This is the other block that we had there, but now we actually had that sweep in a very nice format there. We have the endorsement, we have the other block, everything that we had on DXY, we also have it on GU. So we're expecting price to come back inside this range here, enter into this other block, and from there I'll go to the 5 minutes or 15 minutes time frame and look for a reversal model so I can take that sell trade. Right now, before I continue, we need to have a target if we have an idea, right? Where is our target going to be? Well, we have to get back to the time frame where we saw all those things. So we have all this over here. Remember that in the daily, I think it was on the daily also, I talked about having a little bit of a bias. Now, this here is a breakout structure, right? The last points that we had before that breakout structure where price actually kind of like did a little swerving was actually here. Okay, if you go to the daily time frame on EU, you're going to see that as well. Okay, there's also breakout structure around here. Price never came back to that area again, so this here could be a bearish order block for us to push price down once again. So we have to be watchful for that. Okay, because we had a sweep does not mean that we are going to be bullish forever. We need the break of structure to confirm that you're not bullish. But now, that sweep is a new low. Okay, so we can still make new lows altogether. Wait for price to reach up to this level here. So it's going to be like a long journey. Price has to rebalance the the gaps that were left behind. Okay, before we go back down, I believe. So yeah, that's going to be our target there. So for that, I think we should just use these highs here. This should be like equal highs around here. Okay, that gives me some liquidity. So I think if we go down to it clearly for the 1 hour, okay, it's becoming clearer there, right? Yeah, it's becoming clearer. So yeah, that's the equal highs there, right? So we are waiting for price to push back down and then push it back up. Okay, I think this would serve as another block. It's not going to be bad. Is it matching with the OTE? Let's see if it's better than the 1 hour entry. Okay, yeah, it's matching with the OTE. So I think I'll just shift my entry to this area. Although I cannot trade DXY on my broker. I actually have an idea on it. Okay, so it's good to have that idea. So you're aiming to this particular spot now. Okay. So I guess that's that. So work with this for now. So now with this idea in mind, what are we going to aim for on the XY? I mean, I already have a key level, but like if you're watching it from the daily time frame, I believe that we have a key level around it. Okay, so price came here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so many times. All right, so I'm already aiming for this high around here. Okay, the opposing highs, this opposing high here is actually giving me an idea to take profit over there. So if I actually get into this trade, I'll just take it down to that particular key level. All right. I still believe the price might be bullish. Okay. Because to me the dollar is still bearish. All right. So we'll be working with that as time goes on. Okay. Um, the 4 hour, what do we get? Okay, not much, not much, but then you can see everything playing out there. Okay. Sweep, break of structure, POI. Okay. It's as simple as that. So yeah, let us wait until price gets back inside here, and then we should have some trades to look out for. Okay, this one is now on EU, right? Like I said, EU and DXY, they're basically opposites. Okay, so this is the daily time frame on EU. We see here that those equal lows were here, right? We had relative equal lows here, cleared out, price touched it, cleared the equal lows, and then started going up from there, right? We also use this fair value gap here, so I don't really see price coming down to this area again. It could be, but I don't think so. After that, the break of structure, last down close candle before the break of structure, so this validates it as another block on the daily time frame. So I would be expecting price to keep dropping. Okay, but I mean, we need to find some entries before that. The only thing that I can see here is that let me clean this. Let me clean this up. So we had what? We had a fair value gap here, right? Price used it and then did what? Pushed up. And now we have a break of structure here. So BOS. Over here we have a fair value gap, right? On the 4 hour. So we could be working with that. So this is our fair value gap on the 4 time frame, right? Whatever it is, we're actually working with the range of this low to this high. Okay, that's the range that we're working with because of this breakout structure. Okay, it's validating our range there. Go down to the 12 time frame. This is the last buy candle before the breakout structure, right? So this could be another block as well. 1 hour time frame, we begin to see that price has shifted a little bit. So our fair value gap from the 4 hours become a little bit more complex, but look at this, we touched that 50% and dropped down from there, right? So yeah, it was valid. I think I had a trade from there last week, but the problem was that I refined it to the 30 minutes or the 15 minutes fair value gap and ended up missing the trade. So sometimes over refinement is actually what kills my trades, right? Continuing, we do have here, this was a high that was basically swept, right, or it was cleaned. Is what we call a flip zone rather. Okay, you have a BOS to the upside and then you have BOS to the downside, so it just flips it. Or see a change of character, whatever you want to call it. Okay. Um this here, let me just use this. Okay, it's simpler for me to understand myself. So that fair value gap now kind of like vanishes, but like it's now here. Okay, this is the fair value gap. Now I don't like this fair value gap for one reason. I think I'm speaking too fast. Let me try and slow down. I don't like this fair value gap for one reason. Right, it's below the 50%. So instead, I want to use anything that's above 50%. The only thing that I have above the 50% here is these two up close candles, which would make up a possible order block. All right, so we are left with this. Alongside that, we have the OTE matching up with this candle. So I think I'll refine my order block to this particular candle. All right, as you can see, it's matching perfectly with the OTE, which is something that I look forward to. Okay, so basically, we would have something like this. Okay, so we want to watch out for that in the coming days. All right, I believe that maybe by um possibly by Wednesday we should be there. All right, let us see what price is going to give us. Okay, and then I'll be aiming for this order block that's on the daily. If I actually get to get a trade here, I'm going to take profits just here. Okay, I'll take profits at this point. So this is where I'm taking profit on. Okay. There's no way to refine. I think, yeah, this was what I was talking about here. I refined my fair value gap to the 30 minutes time frame. I ended up missing it because some of you may know I like using the 50% of the fair value gap to enter. Yeah, there's that there. Let's continue. Okay, let me check if I have any comments. Okay, no comments, right? Okay, that's okay. So let's keep on moving. Let's look into UJ. UJ has always been one of my most traded pairs as of Q4 last year because it kept on giving me some wins back to back, right? UJ is basically the same plan that I have on DXY. Okay. We see there that we had the failure swing and then we now broke structure. So this entails that we might have a whole bearish structure forming on UJ, right? These places here that I mapped out are places where I could take profits, okay, possible taking profit points. This is a key level, and this here is another high that we have around there, okay. So on the 4-hour time frame, you see there that there was a nice sweep, right? And after that, we see that price is actually trying to like what create a fair value gap here. So I believe that we're going down, touch this fair value gap, and then we'll pump afterwards, okay. If that's the case, then those places that I chose to take profits, they are situated inside a fair value gap, okay, which was never used, by the way. This whole thing here, from this fair value gap all the way to this one, is called a liquidity void. So I expect all this to be cleared out. So we will likely dump from here if you're to actually start going down. We see a sweep around here as well, okay, which supports the bearish side of the curve, right? So yeah, I think I'm just going to be expecting this to be playing out. Okay. We shift down to a lower time frame, like the 2 hours, the fair value gap is still there. We now begin to have some endorsement liquidity around here. Okay, I don't think I marked that out. Let me do it now. So that's our endorsement liquidity. Let me shift a lot to the side. And this OTE actually kind of like matches with this guy here, which could also be our order block. So yeah, to me, either the fair value gap or the order block, they're all valid. Okay, so I already have my orders pending, waiting for price to touch that 50%. Hopefully, we don't have a BOJ intervention. Okay, because as of last week and the previous week after, previous to that, I was stopped out twice on trades that had already hit about 3 hour or 2 hour. Okay, so it's not as if my bias was wrong. It's just that the central bank, the BOJ, Bank of Japan, and the US Fed, they intervened. All right, it's not like I had the wrong bias. It's just that they intervened and pushed price down. So it's not like I was wrong basically. Anyways, let's keep on moving. Okay, I'm expecting this one to play out. Let's see how it goes. So this is our fairly gap, and we have that trade. So if you want to take this trade from the 2-hour time frame, like I would, we place it by here on 50%. Stop loss is going to be here. My TP, I'll take TP here at a 1:5, okay, which is actually very reasonable for me. Okay, remember that this here is a key level, all right. So we have a key level around there. We have another key level around here. So yeah, this is what I'm going to work out with. This is also key level, by the way, so price could definitely come down here and pump. So I don't know if you're going to have any sell trades, like counter trades. It's going to be tricky, but it could happen. Look at this here. We just swept this place, right? So we have a liquidity sweep. I don't think we have any other things right now, but yeah, a bit skeptical. I don't like counting my trades anymore. Let me just go with the flow. Okay. I mean, this is actually a counter trade, but from the higher time frame perspective, is less risky than the lower time frame. All right. So I'm going to be expecting this to happen on UJ. Lot. What else can we look at? Okay, let's take a look into this. This here is gold. Okay, if you follow me on X, I posted this buyers this morning. Okay, a few days ago, I think that was on 30th of January. On 30th of January, on 30th of January, yeah, I remember that I posted something on gold. I say that we are going to 4,500 ish. Okay, so 4,500 was around here, and this price came all the way down to 4,400. All right. So after that, we see this massive sweep. Right now, I don't have an entry. Okay, I don't have an entry just yet. So, but so far, the 4-hour is respecting that. Okay, we cleared out the endorsements. We have here this guy as a possible order block from the daily time frame, which is this one here. Okay, this is a liquidity sweep. So anything from this candle high, anything from this place to this place is still very valid for me. So 4-hour time frame, let's check. On the 4 hours, we do have a break of structure down here, but that doesn't really matter, does it? I expect price to actually go back up because this was the crazy bearish momentum around here. Okay, and we don't have a fair valuation there yet. Okay, it's just basically the sellers that got the upper hand, so buyers didn't really have much say into what was happening. Okay, so let's check and see what happens next. Okay, we already have price respecting the other block that I marked out. I want to shift this in closer. Wait, what did I just never mind. Let me just use this instead. All right, so let me zoom in so that we have a clearer picture. So there's something that I was actually noticing here is that we might have a possible trend line liquidity like this. Okay, which means that we just broke through here. Okay, we are about to break that trend line liquidity now. In times like this, you will actually want to see if you have any key levels surrounding that area so that you know where you can place your entry. At this point, I'm seeing some nice ones around here. We don't have anything to the side. I forgot that these are all-time highs. So I would say that this area here, we have a bit of a key level there. Is there any other one? We have some around here. And the interesting part about this one is now is that they're going to match with this one. Let me switch to the line charts. Okay, they are better for spotting out those key levels because key levels is an area where you see price reacting to countless times. So if we put our key level here, you will see that we had a bunch of reactions around here, and we had one around here as well. Okay, which I believe is is the only high that we have made so far in this area. Okay, so maybe, just maybe, you would see price pumping up, right? Coming back down to this area and then going up from there. Okay. So let me delete this one. This is the key level that I want to work with. And this here is my bad. This here is my order block. Okay, we already know that price wants to shift to the upside. Let me check 30 minutes time frame. On the 30 minutes time frame, we are giving, oh, I think I missed this up. This is an inverse favorable gap here. Okay, it's a very nice place to what? It's a very nice place to actually take out the buy entry. So I think I would wait for price to come back down to it. I don't know if it's going to happen again, but like um price could go up like this, come back down, and then go up again. Okay. So this inverse favorable gap is the only thing that I have here, the only idea that I have where I could get an entry. All right, I could get an entry on price. Yeah, I think that sounds about right. I mean, the trend line is definitely here. The trend line is definitely here. So, whatever happens, I think I'll just be moving with this. So I'll be expecting price number K. What? uh, how many pips? Gold is crazy volatile, like crazy volatile today. This is this is too much. This is just too much. This should be about 200 bucks on 0.01, right? 0.01 lot size. This should be about 200 bucks here. Like, what? Uh, this is messy. In fact, I don't even care again. I'm not even trading this gold. But yeah, that's the idea that I have there. Okay. I think from the 1 hour time frame, you can actually refine the inverse value gap to this point. Alright. Although I don't really like refining my POS too much. 1 hour. I like keeping things to the 1 hour, 15 minutes stops. I'm just going to stop here, I beg. This stop loss is crazy. I can't do that. I can't. So I rather move in with silver. Okay, this is silver. For silver, we had let me point it out for you guys. For silver, we actually had the liquidity sweep here and another one here. All right, which is not bad. If you shift down to the 15 minutes time frame, we had the favorable gap here, which was used. Remember that I told you guys that silver loves using favorable gaps. I've already missed this trade, by the way. Okay, but why I could not enter from is because I didn't have the confirmation like this candle now. I like to see that main break of structure, but I don't think I saw that there. Okay. I don't like to trade the 5 minutes time frame, but if I was trading the 5 minutes time frame, I would have taken the trade. Like I would be in this trade right now. Like look at this. This is a very nice reaction. Okay. Which means that I would have entered from around here. We are longing. Wait. Look at this. Another favorable gap. But anyways, this should be my stop loss. Should have been my stop loss, and I'll be taking my TP around here. So this is silver currently. Silver is going bonkers. It's definitely going to reach up to this place. It's a 1:7. But I've already missed out, so no bad blood there. Okay. We have what we need to look for another entry, right? So we have what this is the first break of structure. This is our second break of structure right here. This is very risky because I'm trading 5 minutes time frame. I don't usually do that. Okay. That's my break of structure, and this is a liquidity sweep inside the favorable gap, which I find very nice, by the way. Then this here is going to be our entry points. Okay, this is going to be another block. All right. So if we have that, then we will long it from here. Stop loss around here. Okay, and our TP as usual, we would aim for this guy here. So it's still that same 1:7 basically. So it's not a bad combo. Okay. Could have entered from here, could have entered from here, whichever one. Assuming I'm entering from a favorable gap, my entry drill is actually to use the candle before the fair value gap, or at least one candle before that, which should be around here. And we would aim all the way to the place where we want to take our profit. This is going to give me 1 to 12. If I use the candle before the fair value gap, it's going to give me 1 to 15. Okay. But the spread is actually very big on silver, by the way. So make a mind there. But this is actually quite okay. Okay, this is a 1 to 7 is a lot already. It's more than enough for me. Okay, me personally, I like to take up a 1 to 3, so this actually serves some justice. This high can actually be another place to take profits. Okay, I think we have a little bit. I think it could work. But anyways, so this is going to be 1 to 7 or a 1 to 12, depending on whichever one. I think I'll just stick with the first targets. Okay. So I'm going to put an alert here. I want to know when price is coming back around this area. Yeah, that's for silver. Okay. I have a bias on silver, I have bias on gold. This is for US 500. US 500. I don't even know what is going on with this space lately, but I do know that we are having a little bit of a comeback here. Okay, we swept here, so we're now sweeping this place. So I don't really get what is going on. But this sweep is definitely something to look out for. So this was a sweep from the daily time frame. We now have another sweep on the 4-hour time frame. All right. As you keep on going lower, you see that the price is basically adjusting, and we do have another nice sweep around here. As you go down to a lower time frame, you see that that sweep still stands, and now we do have not just a sweep but like an order block here as well. Okay, so if this is a proper order block, then we could see price coming back down to this other block and pumping. And if you're pumping from there, this is going to be the tricky part now, because we don't have a definite high yet. But what we do have here is that it could be this high. All right, could be this high, could be this high. It could even make new all-time highs, for all I know. So it's just important to watch out for it. Okay. We don't have these key levels around here, so price might react to something around here, anything here, and push price down from these points. Okay, so it's important to watch out for that. It's basically the same story with Nasdaq. Okay, look, this is Nasdaq basically. Now, one thing to know is that Nasdaq just made an endorsement, so this setup is even looking even more juicy right now. Okay, or juicier rather. I believe that this is something that's going to play out during the New York session, though. But yeah, this is what Nasdaq is showing me. All right. S&P 500 is basically showing me the same thing. We haven't seen a 15-minute time frame now. We don't. But yeah, the setup is actually quite good, quite all right. So we are left with a long position here, stop loss here, all right, and take profit just here. It's a 1:4, not bad. Okay. Then let me look into Bitcoin. Okay, let me look into Bitcoin. So I think if you're in the community, we dropped some buyers as of yesterday, 2 trades basically. One hit stop loss and the other one hit take profits, right? We are aiming for this low around here. We got hit. I did say that Bitcoin was going to about 74,500 before, and that was like my main take profit area, and that's exactly what happened. Now let's go to the weekly and check it out. Okay. The main place here is actually this one. 74,500. Okay, I want to see price either sweeping or breaking below it. Okay, on the weekly time frame. So is one point I really want to watch out for. On the daily time frame, however, we do have some. I think we swept this high. Yeah, we did. We did sweep this high, but I don't think we are going. Um, I mean, we have a breakout structure here. This is basically a sweep, right? So we should be coming back inside this range. There's a breakout structure here. You can also use this one as a breakout structure. Doesn't really matter. And break the structure of all of them. Okay. What I would consider is we use this fair value gap, right? So we use this fair value gap to push price down on the daily. This one is from the weekly, all right? But I think we can actually refine it to the daily as well, which should be around here. Yeah, it can be refined. So both fair value gaps in the daily. Um, what next? We have another fair value gap here on the daily once again. So if price is coming back, I would expect price to come back to this fair value gap here. Okay. Now let's go down to the 4 hours and see what we get from there. So now we are getting a sweep. Okay, a sweep. So you already know what the thing about sweeps are, right? So we have a sweep. We would need to break above this high around here so that we can have a change instead of delivery or a change of heart in terms of going down. So now that fair value gap from the daily time frame can now be refined to the 4 hour. We refine it using this place here. Okay, now we have a refined fair value gap. What else? We do have, this is my expectation. Okay, if you're actually supposed to go up, you would be going up from here, something like that. Okay, so we would hit the fair value gap and then move down from there, if that's the case. Okay, well, the sweep is there, is valid, is nice, it's not bad. Okay, we also had another sweep around here. So this here is another setup that's coming on the lower time frame. This here is relatively called lows. So basically, we're just going there to sweep out the liquidity and then move back up to the upside, right? Which would mean that we could have a nice POI around here. Okay, remember that we're refining the interest. Let me get this out of the way. So something like this. Why I kept this one around here is because of this other high that we talked about. So we would now take price up there, but instead I would stop around this high here just before our POI. Okay, because that could be endorsement liquidity, so that would be a nice DOL. Our fair value gap still stands on the 1 hour time frame, right? So this could be either a breaker if you're using this candle, or another block if you're using this series of down close candles. Okay, okay, it becomes very scattered once it gets lower. But what we do have is that I believe that this here could be used as a trend line. Okay, we have an alert on gold. Cool. I'm getting to go very soon. Let me just finish this up. So what do we have? I think I'll just keep up with the 1 hour time frame. I think it's best like that. Yeah, let me just keep up with that. So basically what I want to see now is that I want to see a break of this high, and then this here is going to be valid. All right, so yeah, that's my expectation on BTC right now. So I want to know when price is crossing here. So let me set an alert. Okay, I think I've analyzed a bunch of pairs, right? I've analyzed what UJ, EU, GU, DXY, Nasdaq, silver, gold, US 500, and BTC. Okay, I spent about 15 minutes here. My live analysis is not supposed to go above 1 hour though. So let us just check one more, okay, which is going to be JBP JPY. Now, on JBP JPY, we had a sweep. Okay, we had a sweep around here. Then let me clean this out. This is on the daily time frame. The weekly is not going to be too clean. Okay, so let's just start from the daily. So we have our sweep, right? Do we have a breakout structure? Yes, we do. All right, we do. This here is a low, internal low, which was broken, so it's going to give a nice sign. Although this one is the major structure here that I would love to work with. But now we are coming back inside the range, right? On the 4 hours, that sweep, that breakout structure is still very valid over there. What else? Now, what we would want to see here is that we would like to see price coming back inside this favorable gap here. Okay, why this particular favorable gap? I believe that that is the favorable gap that's in the premium price, right? Because it says it's at the premium and it's closer to the OTE. So this OTE is aligning with my favorable gap. That serves to me as a confluence, right? That price wants to go down. Now, some people might actually have been played out here because this gave out a sweep. Some people might have tried to sell and maybe it's not working out. Now we have another one here. We have another sweep here showing that price still has that buy side mentality. Okay. So these are times when you have to actually use the higher time frame. Okay. The higher time frame is actually the king. Okay, it tells you what price is going to do. So this here is a 4-hour favorable gap, right? So we're going down to the 2-hour time frame. That's what we have there. So we have that sweep, very nice, very calm. There's some people here that once they see that price did the change instead of delivery, they would have entered from the inverse favorable gap and start selling. Now they would have been stopped out. Okay. The favorable gap still here. Okay, that was our 4-hour favorable gap. I think I'll just use the one from the 4 hours because it is looking better. It's looking tinier. All right. We have the sweep, so price should be pumping up a little bit more. We don't actually have anything on the 1 hour or below. Okay, nah, nothing yet. But from the 2 hours and the rest and above, we can see that there was a sweep here. So price should still be going up. Okay, I believe that we're going to get inside this fairly gap very soon. I want to put up an alert here so that I'll know when price is coming towards that area. All right. So yeah, I think that's that. So those are all the buyers that I have right now. So let me just take it one by one so that whoever is watching can check it out and see what we're working with. Okay, what I've worked with. Um, First up we have UJ. All right, on UJ I'm expecting some buys. Okay, I'm expecting price to go back down and go up from there. Then on Euro USD I'm expecting some buys and then sales. Okay, this is where we're going to be taking profits if that happens. For JPB USD, I'm expecting to see some sales from this order block. All right, on the I think it was on the 1 hour time frame. All right. Wait, I want to just check out something before I move on. Okay, this one falls closer to the OTE, so we might actually refine it to this point. So yeah, I think I'll go with that. It's actually it tallies with what DXY was showing me. All right, so I think I'll just use that to order block, and then we go down from there. All right. We also have DXY. I told you guys that DXY is going to make a little bit of a dump today, between today and tomorrow, and then we now pump from there. After that, we do have Nasdaq. Okay, Nasdaq is still pumping, still looking very strong, healthy and strong, right? We do have a nice Beverly gap around here. These two Beverly gaps now. Inside that, we have a BPR as well. Okay, this here could be endorsement liquidity, which means that price might actually come back down, touch the other block, and then go up from there. All right. So I'm still aiming for this high around here. Then we have silver. Okay. This silver is actually from here, the 5 minutes time frame. We analyzed it. We saw that there was a favorable gap which was used. This favorable gap too, and now we have this other block which has not been used yet. Okay, which could be a very nice place to take a trade from. All right. On gold, we do have a price that was the alert for. Okay, price just crossed the size, so I believe that we could see price coming back down. All right, price could come back down to this inverse favorable gap and pump from there. This inverse favorable gap is on the 1 hour time frame, by the way. It would look Italy with silver, by the way. We also have a key level around that place, so whichever one, either the key level or the inverse favorable gap, I believe that gold is actually going to use one of them and use that to take out this trend line liquidity that we have here. Okay. So this is trend line liquidity here. So SP 500, basically the same story with Nasdaq. Okay, then Bitcoin, I say that I'm expecting Bitcoin to close above this high before we can now use this guy here. I think it might be a breaker. No, it's not going to be a breaker because we don't have that liquidity, like that momentum yet. So I think I'll use that as another block, but breaker is fine, whatever. So yeah, there's that. So that's all for today's live analysis. Okay. I don't know if anybody has any questions or anything that you want me to analyze again, but I've done a lot. So I'll see you guys again on Wednesday. All right, I'll be dropping this here, and the setups are all there. For those of you in my community, you already have the setups there. Okay, so I'll see you guys again on Wednesday, same time, 10 a.m. West African time. All right, and until next time, guys. Don't forget to subscribe and drop a like, by the way.